All right. So in this one, we're going to talk about. So just so you guys know, full disclosure, if you're hearing this out, and to the Army goalie out there, I just want you to understand, I'm not picking on you. All right. But this is Wyatt Schupler from Army. So Wyatt, if this comes your way, um, like I've got to do some clickbaity titles every once in a while, like because otherwise, like it's very hard to get traction. So you'll see me put like the college name in there, or the goalie name in there. Gets a little bit more eyeballs. It's amazing when I look at my YouTube statistics. So Wyatt, if you're watching, man, I know you didn't get dizzy on this play, but it's just kind of fun to use that as a term. Um, so this play in particular, that's coming up. All right, bear with me. Um, right here. All right. So what I want to talk about is what to do when the ball's behind the cage. All right, and what to do and what not to do. So I've got two goalies here. One, I've got the Towson goalie, Shane Brennan, who's like 106 years old because he's like a senior, like a redshirt senior or something. Probably like a COVID redshirt senior, which means he's probably 27 years old at this point. Um, but the first clip here is of the Army goalie Wyatt Schupler, and I don't know what year Wyatt is, or Wyatt's the senior, and I can't remember. I gotta just Google that. Let me just click on that. Wyatt's yeah, Wyatt's the senior, and I don't know what year Brennan is, but anyway. So here we go. Ball is basically at X, and watch the goalie. All right, watch the goalie, and what I can do here is I will add a source, and I'll just do this. See if that helps us a little bit. And yeah, there you go. Hopefully you guys can see that in lower. No, you won't be able to see that if I put it there. Put up a little bit. I'm not sure that makes a difference, but here we go. All right. So watch the goalie move. Okay. So actually I might have a replay here too. No, I never mind, I edited it. Okay. All right. So what happened here is, so the general rule for me is that I take a line, and I'm gonna try to whiteboard it here on my screen for you guys. So I'm gonna take a line from like this post and run it back to there. Oh, fuck, it always gives me. Pardon me, pardon me for swearing. I'll try that again. Wee, boink, and shift. Nope. All right. So there. So this is roughly the line that I use where if a player is at X, kind of to the end line side of this line, I want my goalie facing the back of the cage. I just want my goalie facing the back of the cage. Right now, if this player comes above this line, then my goalie is going to pivot and be in this position, which Wyatt is in a good position. He's basically 45 degrees. Okay. But right here, there's a couple things that this goalie totally misses. Right. One is his long pole is a righty, right? And as this play kind of develops, my long pole, if I just look at this long pole, he's ready to funnel this ball, this player behind the cage. So as a goalie, I need to just be anticipating that. So standing like this is not the right play. And I guess I want to start by saying that from a uh, an athletic perspective, one of the things you have to consider is efficiency, is energy management, right? Because this is where the game of lacrosse, I think, is lacking so much, because there's very little attention to these details, and I believe that the lacrosse goalie of the future will pay more attention to these details. And there's really not an excuse not to pay attention to these details. So, because what ends up happening here is this look, the way this should be is he should be facing the back of the cage. And then when this player gets to this other line, which is basically roughly like that, then he's going to pivot with his right foot on the right post, right? So, but along the way, he's like, so right here, right here. He's already starting to go to the other pipe, and this player is not even he's not even crossed like the center of the field. Right. So this is where the goalie starts to get like now he's all over the place. He's like, I'm spinning, I'm spinning, I'm spinning, I'm spinning, right? He's like, boom, oh, and then now here, what ends up happening is he looks like he's in position, but I believe that just prior to this, all of that motion, all of that motion is unnecessary. And what ends up happening on this shot is that the shot is actually quite creative. He just kind of gets hung up and he throws it like over the top of his head, and the goalie is like out of position. He thinks it's going wide, and all of a sudden it's by him. And which is the other thing here I'll just point out is that from a goalie's perspective, this bottom hand should have just gone right to that ball. The bottom hand just goes right to that ball. But I can guarantee you that the way this kind of progressed, the shot came as a surprise, and because he's still moving, right? Like the reaction to this is like, I can't believe that just went in, because I think what he was thinking was it was supposed to go wide, maybe, or it just totally caught him off guard, right? But I go back to all this mess, right? As he's pivoting and pivoting and pivoting, that's just poorly coached. That's really poorly coached, and I don't like that, right? And now here he's reaching, and now he's like, wait a second, and then it's by him. Okay, so now I'll show you this clip by the Towson goalie, because the Towson goalie in this particular play does a really good job of this, and you'll see how simple the footwork is. Right, so sorry, there's no sound here. So right here, the ball is just behind the goal line, but you see Brennan is standing with basically his feet in one of the three positions that I recommend, okay, which is really good. Okay, so it's like that. So his visually, he can look upfield, which I think he does here. Yeah, so see, he can see basically as a goalie right now, this goalie can see basically all of the field. He can see all of this, right? He can make a quick assumption and he goes like, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, you see all the guys. There's like, okay, cool, right? And then this play develops, and he stays right there. Takes a little adjustment step, but he's basically right there. Now, I don't particularly, you don't have to be facing this guy. There's no shot coming right now. Goalies, I think there's just a bad habit of goalies starting to face too much to the ball, right? I don't like that. You got to keep that in mind. All right, so now here it comes. Now the player drives. Now we're looking for this line. Remember, we're looking for this line from about here back. Oops, that's not right. I'm gonna go here, and hopefully it doesn't give me. It's gonna give me a circle. I don't know why. All right, so we'll try this. I can't draw with a mouse. All right, here we go. All right, so right here now, as he's about to, well, that line's gonna move. As he's about to cross that line, the goalie pivots on this right foot, real simple, and now he's right there. And now because the player's coming so fast, he goes right across. Right now, in my opinion, this left foot now is a little bit out of position because as he moved across here, instead of the foot going down right about here, right, he steps back a little bit too far right there. And so that now leaves him here kind of stretched. So if this player kept coming around, if this Virginia player kept coming around, that left foot is kind of wasted. It's outside the cage where, in fact, it could be. If you guys remember the video I did of the Duke goalie, one thing the Duke goalie does is he at least has his leg in a spot where it's now covering the net, right? And that's really important, all right? But now the attackman pivots and goes back, and he pivots, and the goalie is in good position, great position. He comes back, and now he's right there. Very simple, right? Now, and then here, I love this. I'll just like right here, as this attackman, or this is a midi, but as this midi drives upfield right here, you'll see the goalie take a hop step forward to take up more space. Love that. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Doesn't even get the shot off. and now he backpedals a little bit. I would have liked to just see him stay out, but he's just getting his bearings. But I love all of how simple this is. All right. I love how simple this is and how efficient the movements are. Boom, 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 hop, ready. Okay, reset. As opposed to this. Yeah. Okay. So that's really, I can't stress that enough that we're either creating great habits or we're creating bad ones. And I think a great habit to create is efficiency of movement and having very simple steps. Having very simple steps from the movements behind the ball is critical, and it's poorly taught and it's not reinforced. But when you simplify your steps, then your goalie has a chance to really focus on uh, being in position earlier so that they're ready when the shot comes. So, um, an Army goalie can't effectively communicate with his defenseman either. Yeah, yeah, because that's when you look at that right here, one of the mistakes that defenders make. So here, this is a great setup. Like this is great. We're going to force this player left, or to the back right, and we're going to keep him there. And then, but the defender completely loses that right there, and now the defender's dancing, and it's just not pretty. Okay, so defender had an opportunity for like a rip right here, but really didn't really do much. Rip right here, and that slide is also horrible. Yeah. So anyway, great point, Paul. Thank you. Details matter. And the sooner you can get your goalie to understand. Now, if your goalie's like 10 and they've got a tiny inseam, they might have to make a little adjustment step there or whatever. But the general principle is basically 3 positions when the ball is behind the cage, right? Left foot on the left post, right? Pivoting. The right foot is 45 degrees out. We're going to pivot on that right foot. We're going to face the back of the cage, and then we're going to pivot around, and then we are going to be right on that right foot's going to be on the right post, and we're good, and we're totally good, and that's it. Right. That's really it. Okay. So when I see the Army goalie, with all due respect, Mr. Schubler, I dropped a post this week talking about like I'm watching the Army Syracuse game highlights, and I'm realizing that there's a massive opportunity for the lacrosse goalie of the future, and that's one of the things. Like that's a detail thing, because as an elite athlete, when you boil everything down and you have real efficient movements, and you have no wasted energy, then you have energy to perform later in the game. And you don't know where that's going to matter. You really don't. But all you need to know is that when you tidy those things up, then good things can happen. But if you just let them loose, and if you don't pay attention to them, then you're up for accidents, missed opportunities, things like that. So that's really important. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and thanks for listening wherever you are. Do me a favor, hit the like button if you like this, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. When you're ready, head on over to lacrossegoalieuniversity.com/coaching so I can work with you and your goalie. And while you're at it, check out athletespecific.com to learn more about mental performance and high performance. You may not know this, but I work with athletes in a variety of sports. Lacrosse is my love, but man, I love athletes and the families who support them. So head on over to athletespecific.com and check it out. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.